What's good, guys? LM7 here, back again, doing another review. This time, we're looking at the midi-scaled Tantive IV. All right, 18 plus, so it's a slightly more complicated build. That's debatable, but it is what it is. 75, 376, 654 pieces, and costs $79.99 in the US, $99.99 in Canada. So it's not the worst price set ever, but it is a little much. I'm just going to start out with that, I suppose. Probably could have gotten away with 65 or 70, but, you know, we're in the real world now, so everything's expensive. Anyway, as you can see on the bottom, this is a 25th anniversary set because it has the chromed blue border and says so. On the back of the box, nothing crazy. It shows the dimensions, almost 16 inches long and 6 inches tall, so it's fairly decently sized. All the words I said there, fairly decently. And really the only thing they show you is like the opening scene in episode 4, which is interesting. So not much going on in the box. And then your reference for this is a piece, a little wedge piece this time. This review probably won't be super long, considering it is it's a midi-scale ship, so they're going to be shorter, just less to talk about. Anyway, they decided to give us a different look here on the instructions for some reason, so you get an interesting front view of it. And if you flip all the way to the end, you can see we come in at 135 pages, so it's a pretty mid-level build as far as like build time. You know, if you're a newer builder, maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. If you're really pushing it, take a break in there somewhere. But overall, it shouldn't take that long. It's not super complicated, but there is a couple interesting building techniques kind of in the middle, and obviously in the engines uses a little more technique and stuff. So, and there are some stickers, unfortunately, and we'll show those in a minute. But okay, so Tantive IV. I know we've done nothing, but good old Tantive IV. First ship you see in episode 4. I'm gonna call these budget UCS sets because that's kind of what they are. They're in a mid-price range, you know, of about $100 or so each one. And they're not quite huge, but they're not small little sets. And they do put a decent amount of detail into the sets to try to make them feel more collector edition. And they get little display cards and everything. So that's what I'm going to call them. They're bargain collector sets, really. So no minifigures in this set. Unfortunate. It is what it is, though. You do get a little 25th anniversary brick, and that's nothing special. It's just 2 pieces. And I moved this little piece here so it can sit here, because I hate random little things that don't... Like, when I move a set, I want to be able to move it all at the same time. Know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. You guys, if you have any Lego sets, you know that. You don't want your dudes falling off. So I'll take this off and show you. This is a printed piece, which is nice. And all it says is the Tantive IV. Doesn't really show you like anything on it, unlike the Ultimate Collector sets, you know, that have the information. But what do you expect? These are pseudo collector sets for, you know, like, it's a good birthday or kind of Christmas present. But obviously the last Ultimate Collector's Blockade Runner was a while ago, and it's very expensive now. So I like what they're doing, and some of the set choices are interesting, and we'll review them down the line. The only one I'm not going to review is the Midi Millennium Falcon, because frankly, I just didn't want to buy it. If we're being honest, I didn't want to spend the $80 on that. Anyway, let us look at some details here. So we'll start at the front. You can see some stickers there. Not super difficult, but you know, you kind of always wish they're printed, especially in a collector-esque set. So we'll do the instructions thing, and that's pretty close, honestly. But it's your classic Rebel Blockade Runner. You got your guns on the top and the bottom, and they do move. They're a little finicky, but they do move. These ones do as well, which I guess is nice. Your antenna dish does spin. I mean, it's not like intended to do so, but in the middle of that round plate there, it does allow it to spin. Unfortunately, the escape pods don't like have a function to come off, but they do come off pretty easily if you want to, excuse me, if you're playing with it, you know, with younger kids or something, or you're doing a stop motion or whatever. But they do come off, so I guess that's pretty cool. I actually like how this looks, the way they have the rounded bricks in there. It's my personal opinion. I think the shape is fairly decent here, because this is a weird shape to do, especially on a smaller scale. You know, even the bigger one didn't do it perfectly. So what else? What else? These do not open, but there's nothing in there anyway. Do they? I don't remember. They might. They do, actually. I wonder if I can take the panel off and show it. I don't really want to take the panel off, to be honest. But I guess... oh, now I'm breaking stuff. Classic. Gotta break stuff, you know. So I'm going to assume that just goes back on there like that. Okay, cool. Anyway. The fun little detail is they do give you a micro C-3PO and R2-D2 on the inside, but you really can't see them, because you can see the construction underneath the panel that I took off. It would make it pretty difficult to just remove the top section to even look at them, so it's just a fun little inclusion if you get the set and you remember it's in there. Let's see, what do we got? So here's the detail on the bottom. You can see that this one is used. They're just giving a little bit of movie accurate details there. See the bottom of the stand, I guess. Pretty classic. They've been doing this type of stand for a while now. You know, vertical bricks to hold the weight better. So this is what I was talking about. I just moved this grill plate one over so that your little info brick can sit on there too. And then I guess the highlight is the detail in the Tantive IV engines. Unfortunately, these are stickers, but they do look pretty good, all things considered. And you got 4 more on the bottom. Here's your side detail. You know, not terrible greebling. And I did like how you built them, you know, using upside down techniques and slope pieces and hinges and all that. Obviously, this is the most complicated part of the build for younger builders. And then on the back, you get your classic 11 engines. So faithful this time, unlike our good old Ultimate Collector's Battle of Hoth with our instead of our 4-dish generator. So they didn't skimp on any engines, which is good. Not that you'd expect them to, especially, well, I mean, the Hall set you wouldn't expect it either as a huge set. You know what I mean. But that about does it for the Tantive IV. I'm actually, just for fun, in case anyone doesn't have it, because it'll probably retire soon-ish. It's been out for a while now. I did want to show a small comparison with a slightly larger set. Obviously, the Onyx Cinder has twice the pieces, you know, give or take 100. But I meant like size-wise. You can see the Rebel Blockade Runner is actually fairly large, you know, compared to a big $100+ set, and this is a $80 set. So it's not tiny by any means. I actually kind of like the size. You know, if I didn't already have all of the big ones, you know, if you're just starting collecting, it's a way to go. If you're like, I don't care about minifigures and all that, I just want cool looking display sets, then the mini ones are the way to go. Last thing I can say, it doesn't actually come off the stand. It uses Technic pieces this time. Some of them do come off the stand, some of them don't. This one is not one of those, so you can pretty much pick it up wherever. You see, I'm just no stand, but I prefer to actually hold it here if I don't knock off pieces all the time like I usually do. But it's really sturdy. And as far as like the introductory back to mini scale ships, because we haven't seen them in a while, this one's pretty good, honestly. I like that they chose the Rebel Blockade Runner. Sorry, wasn't a huge fan of Millennium Falcon, especially if they're not retiring the collector's one for a while. I didn't think we needed another Millennium Falcon, but that's a different rant. So with that said, let me know what you think. Do you like the new mini scale ships? We got a couple more to go through as we go along with the backlog reviews here. Let me know what you think. Are they too expensive? You know, do they fill the niche that they're doing well? That's your opinion, but I'd like to know. So leave a like, comment, and subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff, and I'll see you guys next time.